NPC. Alright, and welcome to the NPC Mates Rate. There's only two of us for this one, so I'm your host Kane, also known as Hardfrog.
And I am Missy, also known as Missy.
Or Secretary Missy.
Nope,
Yeah,
just Missy.
Secretary Missy, and sometimes Melissa or Melody.
That's like I quit.
It's already gone downhill. Alright, we're going to be doing a quick review of John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum.
Yeah, that's how we've seen it advertised, Parabellum. And then in the movie, it was not pronounced that way.
Spoilers?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, everyone.
Alright, first off, we're going to give just a quick rundown of what we think of it before we jump into spoilers. So you've got time and we'll give you a warning when we jump into that. So for now, I guess the question is, what did you think?
Well, generally, I'm quite new to the franchise, but I'm very keen on it. I like a good action movie.
Keen?
I was hoping you wouldn't work that in, but I gave you an opportunity and it's my fault. I'm very sorry, everyone. Yeah, look, I really enjoy Keanu in this role, and he didn't fail to deliver with this, so it's pretty good. I would I'd probably see it again, yeah,
it was really good.
Yeah.
Like, keeping it non-spoilery, I guess. If you want action, this is an action movie, and I wouldn't say it's not dumb action either. It's clever but dumb as well. Do you know what I mean? It's not old 80s dumb. Everything almost seems plausible. Like, there's just like a fine line of like, this could be happening kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they do really well in this, is it makes it almost believable.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, it fit in with the franchise really well. There was nothing like too crazy. You kind of went in there. Yeah, it was what I expected from it, plus another like 30%. So I was pretty impressed. I guess it was definitely more full on than I think the previous ones.
Bit more
so
brutal.
If you're not into really brutal fight scenes or anything like that, you might not enjoy it. But if you really like a good action fight scene, you're gonna love this.
The choreography is great. There's some good scenes, lots of long scenes. So you'll definitely notice like the actors put in the work. Just with, what is it, Halle Berry, the dogs?
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that she worked with him for like 8 months or something getting ready for the movie. So you can just see all of the actors doing the choreography, and knowing that it's them and not doubles is just, you can see, and it really pays off.
I've a much bigger appreciation for actors doing everything for themselves kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the cast, like, it's a great cast. A lot of people you may not have expected being there kind of thing. Won't say who, but there's definitely a lot of actors.
I know, I was not expecting John Cleese. His character was really tough.
Yeah, great. I'm just picturing him on the fucking wall. Okay. I can't say too much other than see it in cinemas.
Yeah.
The sound quality is great and brutal. If you can't see it in the cinemas, rent it as soon as possible. This is worth owning. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a tight ass when it comes to going to the movies, and I was lucky enough to win a double pass from Censor, so thank you, Censor. But I would actually have paid to see this. This was very, very good and very much worth a night out.
If the other NPC mates want to go and see this before it stops, I would definitely go again and see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you've been tossing up whether or not to go see this, I know this is a crazy month for good movies to see. If this is on your list and you've been umming and ahhing about it, make this a priority. You need to see it on the big screen with the surround sound. It's well worth it.
I think it definitely needs surround sound. If you're going to end up watching it at home, it better be with surround sound and probably on Blu-ray or some shit. All right, shall we get into the spoilers then?
Well, I think before we get into the spoilers, should we give it not necessarily a rating, but at least would we proper recommend it to everyone?
This is something I would only recommend. I would recommend it to most people, but I'm going to let them know it's action, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still action. If you don't like action, you're not going to like it. But there is more than just action. There's a lot of lore, and the characters are all well done, and the world is done well. So it's not just like action all the time.
But there's not that much downtime when you think about it. I feel like compared to the first two, this was more like go, go, go.
Yeah,
almost the entire movie.
They probably had less downtime than the first two.
But if you've seen the first two, then you probably know why it's go, go, go. Because it literally just picks up from the second one ended. So it's very well done. And let's just say, much like the first two, Keanu should not be alive still. It's ridiculous.
All right. Get into the spoilers?
Yeah. So basically, we highly recommend it if you're into action movies or anything a bit fun. It's brutal, but fun.
If I'm just going to say now, I will say, should I give it a rating or not?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about that too, because I don't want anyone to go in there with certain expectations, but...
I highly recommend it. And I'll do a rating at the end of this review. Hopefully you've seen it by then.
Yeah. And this will at some point go into the Colistseum, which is our list of movies that we review as a foursome.
Mm-hmm.
And so... Really, child?
Yes.
Eventually, once the other two members have seen it and we can all review it together, there will be an entire video or podcast dedicated just to the movie, and you will get in-depth reviews about that. This
is going to be just something a little quicker with us two, fresh on our minds of just seeing it.
So I mean, we just got back.
It's not just entering our Colosseum straight away, but we want to do it justice.
And as with most movies we review, we do like to try and avoid spoilers for people that haven't seen it. So the second half of this is going to be spoilery. We will be talking about specific scenes in the movie. If you haven't seen it and you plan to, you're going to want to click off for this half.
Okay, so you've been warned. 3, 2, 1. Now, John Wick dying.
Actually, that's one thing I do want to touch on. The fact that we hadn't even seen John Wick 3 and already news articles were popping up everywhere from the day it had hit the cinemas talking about John Wick 4.
That was a bit of a downer. It means I knew he wasn't going to die.
Yeah, and it's funny because based on the second one, I kind of thought he'd die at the end of this one. And then knowing, like going into it and knowing that he survived, I was kind of like, and it was almost a letdown. Yeah,
like... At the end, like, we're in full spoilers now. Sorry if anyone didn't get that. Fuck off. When Winston shoots him and he fell, I would have been like, oh shit, that's the end of Wick kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. And if we hadn't already essentially been spoiled with the idea that, yes, they're already making a fourth one.
I knew straight away he was going to get up.
Yeah, that's the thing. And yet they make it look like there's no way you could have survived this. Oh my God. And yeah, so that was unfortunate. And I do hate that sort of mentality.
You know, that scene looked a bit weird. That might have been like an idea for a final. And then they thought, let's do more.
Yeah, that could be.
Because Thingy was dead too. The guy got his face, like Morpheus had his face cut up. He looked like he died. Like, it looked like that last tacked on scene could have been like, where's Wick kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd be interested to read a bit more. We've avoided reading a lot of stuff because we did want to just go in there and appreciate it for what it was and what we were seeing. But yeah, I mean, I will say this, that when I do eventually rate it out of 10 with our scoring system, it is going to lose a couple of points for some of the action scenes. Only because the action is because everything's done so incredibly well, and the actors are doing it themselves, and everything is so full on, and the scenes are so long and done in one shot, you are seeing the actors and the extras basically wait for the next move at times. So they'll get thrown into a cupboard and then stop, or like their arm will be held and their other arm's completely fine. They could do something with their other arm, but they don't because they're waiting for the next move. And I did pick up on that more than I have in a current sort of action movie in a very long time, but it's forgivable because everything else has made up for it well and truly.
Yeah. I noticed it as well. It's one of those things where I think you got to try not to look for it,
mm-hmm.
and just let it kind of like just play out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like it definitely happens, but there's so much action in this, and then there's so many scenes that are so clean and done so well.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's a lot of long choreographed fight scenes, and I'll always appreciate them for what they're trying to do, kind of thing. And I'll definitely like, it's not as bad as other movies. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like literally someone. It's like a split second of hesitation you'll see with them.
Yeah,
it's
and
not,
I
like,
think
really bad.
It's probably noticeable for people like us that, I guess, almost without meaning to, we'd look for it in a way.
I look at backgrounds a lot.
So do I.
I don't let the camera dictate 100% where I'm looking.
Yeah, and I won't always focus on the main actor. I am always trying to see if it's a cohesive scene with everyone doing their part. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't a massive letdown, but it was definitely something that stands out. And I'm thinking even people that don't necessarily look for things like that, you might pick up on it once or twice.
I don't know if they would 100% really. I think if you focus on just the action and where they're directing your eyes, you will not see it much at all.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like, it's not as bad. Like, I was looking at a lot of costumes, and one of the things I noticed is good is when they do these scenes, like all the bullets are still on him, and I really appreciate that kind of stuff. Not just like, how do you get all those bullets? Like, they even took the time to show a scene that was 5 seconds long of the cab driver dropping off his dog. They could have left that scene out. It didn't even need to be there. It was just...
No, it needed to be there.
No, he said, take the dog to the Continentum, and that's it. But other movies wouldn't have put that scene in there. That would have been the end of it. No, they would have left it. Like, remember how Game of Thrones, just scenes that would have really completed things. You only need a 5-second scene to complete something's arc. It's why, like, so many movies that they say it's like such good storytelling. It's like, no, it's because they fucking finally just put in some scenes that needed to be there. It's not even like, it's not brilliant. It's just put it in the movie to make sense. We get to see now where the dog is. He's now looked after. 5-second scene to show the cute dog getting out of the cab, and to show everything. Like, the whole movie follows him, and it all makes sense where he's going and what he's doing. And it's weird that that's called brilliant in movies these days, but it should just be standard.
Yeah.
It bothers me so much.
Finishing off little, I guess, mini plot points.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the best way, I guess. Is mini plot points.
Instead of leaving it open-ended, which happens so often, it's getting ridiculous.
Like, this was good. It follows John Wick start to finish while showing every other character in all these little scenes, and they all build up onto them, and you don't even need to see the other scenes with them because you're just getting it from this scene with Halle Berry. How good was that? It's like you got the backstory, even though not all of it was told. Kind of
it's interesting with regards to Halle and her character. I do find it like it could so easily lead to a movie showing their story and their backstory, but at the same time they can't, because obviously John Wick 4 is going to continue from the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it has to, and that's all going to come to a head. And to be fair, I see that rounding off in John Wick 4. I don't see that continuing any further. So then perhaps if there is going to be a fifth, that might be with Halle Berry, like the backstory showing him with some of the other characters.
They have said TV series could be potentially in the works.
But I feel like Keanu wouldn't do a TV series.
No, I don't think it would be him. It would be someone else.
In which case, it would be very much a step down because of the years of dedication he's put into this. The training alone, like the gun training and the martial arts, like he's been crazy with this.
Let's just try and touch on points. Story-wise, what do you think, just starting up straight away from being excommunicated as is, to like, what do you reckon? It's only that hour is about 10 minutes before it actually clicks over until he's...
Yeah, well, to be fair, the end of the second movie had already been half an hour or so at that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say it was 10 or 15 minutes for the next half an hour. A lot of it was him sort of running around, getting attacked by people. And then I guess they cut out some of the travel time that he had where he was just running, which, thank God. But... yeah, I really like that it picked right off, like just straight away from the end of the second one. Like, I was glad that it didn't try and do anything tricky. Like, I really don't like that in sequels. So I was glad that they just got right back into it.
How's it well, this is one thing I really appreciate. Like, it's a movie. Some movies have like story and then little bits of action. This movie is action with little bits of story, but we got to see how his childhood was really subtly in those scenes. Like, just like bring back memories of kids wrestling and training and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, so he was an orphan now. We know he was an orphan. We know he was trained by fucking what's her name, Morticia from the Addams Family.
Angelica Houston.
Yeah,
I found that quite interesting that they all have those big back tattoos. And I thought, okay, that's, you know, what is that to do with? And then, you know, obviously when he gets branded, it was, I guess it was just another aspect of that culture that was so incredibly brutal, you know, like him using his ticket means that he gets fucking branded in the middle of his tattoo. Like, that was intense.
Yeah, his ticket was just the cross. Like, obviously it's given, one is given to each of them, I'm gathering.
They have such a crazy, like, culture, I guess. The whole city is full of all this, like, assassin lore, you know?
And they're all a part of, it's not just, see, I used to think it was just one. There's multiple districts. Like, what'd you say? Angelica.
Yes.
She's a part of this that trains them.
Yeah.
Like, she trains pretty much assassins, but she still works under the table. Morpheus guy, he works, like, really like underground with pigeons and all the hobos and all that other stuff. And he still works for them.
Everyone
really
works under the table.
Yeah. And then obviously, like, Winston, he's the more fancier upfront one with the hotels. And it's like, so how many other districts are there? Like, but they all follow the High Council pretty much. And
it was interesting to see, I guess, how far the reach went. Like, when he goes and meets the guy that's sort of the head of everything.
Oh, yeah, the elder.
That wasn't what I expected at all. Like, when Bron from Game of Thrones told him that he had to go to the desert, I was like, the desert where? And then just all of a sudden, you know, camels are picking him up and he's meeting some dude. And I'm just, it was interesting to just see the reach of everything, I guess. And the fact that that was like the big main guy. And he was just so chill. He was like, yeah, do this. Also give me your ring finger and your wedding ring. Like,
ring finger, your wedding ring, and everything will be forgiven.
Yeah, it was just the way that, I guess the thing that this does differently to other movies is it's incredibly brutal and nasty, and obviously they're all assassins, they're all trained in their own way, they're all working for whoever they're working for while technically working under the same people really high up. But the fact that they've all got this respect for each other and these kind of rules that they follow, even when they're fighting each other, even when it's all out war, there's still this kind of mutual respect and these like unwritten rules that they follow. You know, even when he was fighting those guys at the end and they were huge fans of his.
Oh, they were letting him get up, helping him up to fight. They were just fans.
They were.
Like, they died because they were fans, essentially.
He didn't kill them.
Oh, yeah, those two he didn't kill. He killed the other guy who was a bit of a hardcore fan.
I think that had to happen, which is sad. Yeah. It did make me sad, though, when that guy said, you know, I'll be there in a minute sort of thing. Yeah. And John's like, no, you won't be. I thought he could have been like, I know you will, and then let him die. You know what I mean? But I guess that went to show that, you know, John is not like a pushover. I guess he was no, like, you fucked with me and now you're dead, and that's just what happens. But I must say, I was really 50-50 on whether he was going to let those two guys live.
Yeah, I thought he was going to kill them. I think it almost looked like he was thinking about it, but he's like, they respected me, I'm going to respect them, kind of thing.
Yeah, and he knows that they had him at the start. They could have killed him.
Yeah.
And they chose to help him up and to have a proper, you know,
a
fight. Yeah. They wanted to test their skills against him, and I guess that was when he was kind of like, right, they gave me a chance. They could have killed me. They didn't. They can live.
Also, how old is Keanu now?
He's in his 50s, I believe.
Because that's impressive. Like, all the training and all the work he's been doing. That alone, I get so much respect for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what more to really say other than it has so much lore, and I want to see more. I love the action, but I love the lore. I'm
very much interested in it. Just how far the reach goes. Is it worldwide?
I kind of hope they can break out into some some other movies, maybe with some other actors or something.
Yeah, that's
like
the
that.
thing. I'd love to see other characters across the world following the same kind of rules, the same kind of system, I guess, you know, where the hotels are the save points and I guess everyone's working for the big bad. And I don't know, I'd love to know the origin of it, I guess.
Yeah, that'd probably be one of the best things to discover. And I kind of hope it looks like him and Morpheus about to start going against the table.
Yeah.
Which means it's going to be definitely all-out war on the next one.
But it is kind of disappointing because I did expect him and Wilson.
I thought they were going to go against the table.
Yeah, and that's what it was building up to. But obviously that guy's a survivor and, you know, he knew what to say and how to play him. So he made it seem like he didn't care anymore. And, you know, I've been in it for 40 years, like whatever. But it was all about survival for him and the fact that, you know...
The fact he gave him that hour, like, that was him, like, pretty much signing away. He knew straight away he signed away, like, almost his life, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. The whole thing came up because he chose to not kill him in the hotel in the first place, and then to also let him get away when they met up. So it's interesting that he would just double cross him after everything. Like it was almost, I mean, it's not that it didn't make sense. I thought
actually that was the one thing that stuck with me. I thought that part was a little bit hard to believe.
Well, now that I've thought about it a bit, I don't know that it's necessarily an oversight. I think it was purely arrogance on his part. He literally says to her, I've been loyal for 40 years, like, and I put out the hit on him, you know, like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, but none of this would have happened if you had just done your job in the first place. So to me, I think that he just got ahead of himself and was like, I'm too important. They're not going to punish me. They never have before. They've never superseded any of my decisions. So, and obviously by the end of the movie, I was like, yeah, it's an arrogance thing, you know, the fact that he just does everything, and is still like, yeah, me.
Before this gets a little too long-winded, is there any other things you want to touch on? For me, the dogs were incredible.
Yeah.
That would have been really hard to do, I think, getting all those dog scenes to make them look so good. Like, Jesus Christ, they use dogs.
I think that was definitely, to be fair, I imagined that Halle Berry's character was going to be in it throughout the whole film.
See, because I forgot and stayed away from the trailers. Yeah,
you forgot the trailer.
For me, it was incredible for how long she was in it to me. I was like, this is cool. She's got these dogs that like are her bodyguards and she fights with them as a team. And it was really good.
Yeah, the fact that it was so, I don't know how to explain it. They just moved together. You know, and you could tell that they were trained and it looks like, and I'm going to read up on this after, but it looks like they're trained to listen to Halle.
Yeah.
And I love that because that's not, you know, that's not the dogs are looking at a trainer out the corner of their eye, you know, all the time. They're looking at her.
Yeah. There's a scene where the dog is biting on someone, chewing, and the dog is actually, his eyes are on Halle.
Right.
And she steps over, he looks at her, and it looks like he's waiting for the command to be told to stop.
Exactly, that's the thing. And I'm hoping to find like a behind the scenes or something eventually, because I'd love to know how much work she did with the dogs and to what extent, because it honestly looked like they were her dogs and she was a dog trainer. Just that scene where like the amount of time that went on. That was incredible.
Yeah, it was a long scene and I was not getting bored. Like,
it was so many people.
The dogs were doing different things.
Yeah.
She was doing great. It was actually like, it wasn't like, where's Wick at? It was like, look at fucking Halle go kind of thing.
And I really enjoyed the fact that you were seeing her and her dogs, and then every now and again in the background you'd see John Wick.
John Wick's just killing everyone.
Yeah,
doing
because we
thing.
know what he can do, but it was really cool to see her. And I must say, when the dog ran up the wall, she calls the dog over, jumps on her back and runs up the wall. Like, amazing.
So many balls bitten.
Yeah.
They were really trying to go for that.
I got to say, though, I was pretty hopeful that no dogs were going to be hurt in this movie because my heart can't take it.
Oh, that scene.
And when they shot it and the dog, like, it looked upset, like it looked hurt and it like whimpered. And I was just like, no. So they do really gut wrenching dog scenes.
I do like the fact it's like the assassins can't have real much attachment to people. So her having the attachment to her dogs and him like obviously having the attachment to the dog is kind of like it kind of stands out sort of thing is like they can't be around people. They end up having to kill them at some point.
Well, I did notice that her connection to her dog seems to be based on the fact that she's had to give up her daughter because the dogs and her daughter are in the photos together. So I'm thinking
that's a good sign.
that, yeah, she had the daughter and the dogs all together as a family and then has obviously sent her daughter away for her own protection, but has gotten to keep the dogs and they must remind her of her daughter.
Like, and when the dog got shot, I love their little body armor.
Yeah.
She went against the boss, like, just like, fuck you kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. John told her not to. He's like, don't do it. And there was no hesitation whatsoever. She was like, literally, fuck this shit up. So I thought that was great because it was almost like a mother protecting her kids in the sense that, you know, and I love that John was like, I understand. Like,
he gets it.
She's like, they shot my dog. And he's like, yeah, I get it. It's like, yeah, this is what the franchise is about. We know that you get it. So...
Other than some bit of like choreography, whenever you do a long scene, you're always going to see that. And only maybe with the bikes did I see a bit of weird looking CGI. Everything looks like it's real stuntmen. It looks brutal. This is easily one of the best action movies. And I would probably say it's on par with the others, if not better. The only reason I love the first one is because it's such a cool build-up. Even this one does really good build-up at, like, what is it? At the start, he's like, $14 million bounty. Every assassin is after him. I'd say the odds are about even.
Yeah. I must say, I would probably say this is my favorite out of the three. But
Ruby Rose didn't do it for you in the second?
But it wouldn't be my favorite if I hadn't seen the others. Like,
yeah, it's an add-on.
Yeah, without the build-up from the other two. Like, as a standalone, this would still be really great. And even though you wouldn't understand a couple of little comments, like, about dogs and stuff, you'd still be missing things you wouldn't understand about his wife. But even as a standalone, this is pretty bloody good. You know, the action speaks for itself.
How's about the fact the raid at the end, they come in with the body armor? And then those two just like fucking angrily come back to the vault. Like, we need more power.
I know.
Like a video game thing. Go back to the vault, get more powerful guns, and then go out there.
I did really enjoy that. They come storming back in, and he's just like, Winston, I need more firepower.
The doctor stopping at 6. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I found that really interesting. And then the fact that he's like, they're not going to believe me anyway. Like, shoot me. I thought, well, you could have fucking finished stitching him then. Like, I know that it was about honor and about knowing that he had done the right thing, but
information seems to travel when it comes to these people.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's probably why fucking what's his name, Morpheus guy likes to use the pigeons, so none of it can be traced or anything like that.
I did really enjoy the armor from the table people. The fact that John gets more and more frustrated as he's shooting them over and over, and then eventually just grabs them by like the back of the neck and shoots like the back of the head.
Or he keeps going the same spot, like triple fucking even. He used all his clips on some people just trying to like get a wound in on them.
Yeah.
It was done really well. And like when he was shooting them, they weren't being killed or anything. They were being dazed and knocked because they're being hit by bullets.
Yeah, he was shooting them in the head and it was like, whoa, and they'd fall down and then they'd get up and be like, where is he? And he'd be like, what the fuck? And just keep shooting them. So it was very, very cool. I also really enjoyed the horse scenes. That was like, wow.
God. The fucking horse, getting the horses to kick and shit.
Yeah, that was really full on.
All right. Story was fun. Action was great. Sound was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The sound really stands out. Acting is all on point. They're all playing their real mysterious roles kind of thing. There's subtle hints at lore all over the place. I don't know what more to say. Like,
I would really just like to see more movies with the same world, basically.
I want.
I feel like I could watch stories. It endlessly.
I would watch a series on this. I would play a video game of this. Like,
yeah,
I would love more.
Yeah, I agree. I was already pretty excited to see this, but now I'm like, well, shit, hurry up with the fourth one.
Yeah, like, I remember every time you finish a John Wick, I think you're always like, fuck yeah, I'd love more of that.
Yeah.
But then time passes, and you kind of forget how fucking good they are.
Yeah, like,
because it seems like they're getting better.
You remember the end, and you're like, yeah, I really want to see what happens, and then it starts up, and you're like, oh, that's right, come on, like, get into it. So,
I guess as for the end, the fact is now everyone's always asking how he's feeling and all that shit. It's like a nod to the other movies, and to finally say he's mad, he's pissed off now. It's like, okay, what is pissed off John Wick going to do?
Do you know what I found very interesting? From the minute he cut off his finger, I already figured he was going to go against that guy, because they very much made a show of him putting the wedding ring in his pocket. And I thought, it's going to come down to he's going to take that guy on and he's going to get his ring back.
Ooh, I do hope that'd be good.
Because I feel like whenever in movies they take something off of the main character and you see where it goes, I'm always like, yeah, they're coming back for that.
I guess, yeah, it's like, what's the question now? Is he going to kill them? Like, he's not a leader. You know what I mean? He would never take someone's place, I don't think.
I almost feel like he's going to give the guy a choice. Like, he's going to beat him down, beat through all his men, and then just, like, reach into his weird little robes, take back his ring, and then it'll be up to the king to decide what to do.
Or he might give him a choice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know. I don't...
Oh my god, that knife scene.
I know.
That's easily one of my favorite action scenes of all time.
Yeah, same. It was like flawless nearly.
That's so good. I really want to watch that scene again.
So do I.
Like, god damn it. So good.
I know.
Okay. Fuck, even the book fight with the big guy at the beginning. It starts right off.
That guy is so big.
It's funny because usually they would use like a big muscly dude. Instead, it's just this really like this tall, just towering guy over him.
Yeah, and he was just very strong because of his size. Like he's taking multiple hits to the face, and it's not even dazing him. I don't know.
And
there
then
was a
he
lot.
gets finished in one of the most fucking brutal ways.
Like when his jaw was crooked.
You see his jaw, yeah. Like he hits him once, it opens, and then he hits him again, and you see bruising start going on the outside of his It's really good.
Really, really good. Like, I mean, obviously, if you're watching this part of the review, you've seen it, so we're not going to be like, go just see
like, it. Don't care about spoilers, and if you haven't seen it yet, go see it. Fucking hell, it is an incredible action movie.
And if you somehow missed the warning and you've now listened to this and you're like, oh my god, spoilers, fuck off. Just, quietly, but yeah.
All right.
The fact that they said the name in the movie, very cool.
Because
I never bothered looking up what it meant.
Yeah, neither did I.
And I figured it must be Latin or something, but I never looked into it. And then it was
if you want peace, prepare for war.
Yeah, so it means prepare for war.
It's a really old saying. I love it. It's one of Megadeth songs.
So yeah, prepare for war, John Wick 3. Very, very good. But yep, we'll be doing a proper, probably a very, very repetitive review by the time everyone else has seen it. But, at least then it'll go in the Colistseum.
If we don't get to that, I think we should just say now what would rate it.
All right, that's fair enough.
Mine is a 9.5.
Yeah, I think I'm sitting on about a 9.
The only reason I couldn't give it a 10 is just the tiniest bits, but this is Mad Max Fury Road level.
That's how I feel as well. I very much, like, as I was watching it, I'm like, this is like Mad Max level for me. I didn't like the little flaws in the fighting where you could see people waiting for their next thing. And then just little things like the motorbike scene, like when he stuffs whatever it is in the bike wheel and everything. It's like, you can't do that. Your fucking wristed break. Like,
no, you can. John Wick can.
I don't know. Little bits and pieces. Nothing too crazy. So yeah, I'm somewhere between a 9, 9.5.
It's an amazing movie nonetheless.
Yeah.
It's like borderline a masterpiece kind of thing. I think it will go down and be remembered as one of the best action movies.
Yeah, Keanu really outdid himself, as did Halle Berry. Like, amazing. Really, really good. So, yeah, very cool.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening to our little NPC mates rate with just Kane and Secretary Missy.
Really?
If you would like to, this is pretty tame, I should probably say. If you would like to hear any other stuff from us, let us know. Tell us what you think in the comments. Subscribe or whatever. I don't care for YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube isn't really our thing. We're dabbling, but we'd love you to come check out the Patreon. Give us a listen. Give us a comment. Or you can occasionally find us on Twitch.
And we're on Facebook. With SoundCloud. We do podcasts mostly. And we Twitch and stream video games. So.
But much more R-rated than this.
If you don't know what the NPC stands for, it stands for non-politically correct. So let's just say it's not for kids.
Or is it?
Or for weak bitch adults.
Bitch adults.
Little bitch adults.
All right. We nearly did well. We
nearly did well.
We nearly kept
I'm
it
just
pretty
saying,
good.
I can't wait for John Dick 3. It's gonna be my favorite.
We saw that. Oh, you mean the...
Yeah, the porn parody.
All right, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. We gotta go find that parody. All right. And until next time, ta-ta.
NPC